Hey everybody, welcome back to our podcast. I wanted to bring you a quick interview with Princess. And Princess has been working with the Impact Agency now for over a year, I believe, about that. But I'll have her get into introduction of herself, and we're going to do a quick recap of the FFL Annual Convention. So real quick, Princess, go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody. Give them a little bit of your background and how you found FFL, how long you've been working here.
Okay, my name is Princess Israel. I've been with FFL for just over a year, so I think this is maybe month 13. And I am how I found FFL. So I was with an IMO previously for a short period of time, and someone actually talked to me about FFL, and I did my research and I came on over.
Awesome. Well, we're glad to have you, and I'm sure you're happy to be here.
Yes.
Good. So let's talk a little bit about kind of like your 2021, okay, leading up to the convention. I know we had gone over like our annual numbers, and you were a little bit surprised at what you were able to accomplish, and then you kind of had a game plan of going into the convention and learning what you can to make this a better year. So talk about what that looked like, knowing what you accomplished and how you analyze that and going into the convention.
So 2021 was just all over the place for me. It was very challenging. For about 3 months, almost 4 months, I didn't really do much of anything in the business, and I was part-time. So when I physically was able to gather the numbers for the end of year, I was a little bit, I just thought I had a completely bang-up year. That's just what I felt. But being able to write just a little bit under 80K, considering that was about 8 months of part-time work, was pretty good, considering what I had been through. So, yeah, definitely an accomplishment. And I didn't it was so rough that I didn't even realize until it was over.
Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of us, we're not checking score. We're just kind of making it through it day to day. But it's definitely important to kind of look at your progress, evaluate. Helping over 80 families really on a semi-part-time basis, if you will, not going as hard as you probably could have, which you plan to do this year. So let's kind of tie that into going into the annual convention. First of all, what was your expectation going in, and then what you got out of it? Share a little bit of what you got out of it.
Well, my goal going in was to just get in alignment. As I explained, my year was rough, and it was really important to me to get a kickstart, my mindset readjusted and so forth. So that's what I was going into the convention looking for, and that's absolutely what I received. If not a kick in the butt, I just received so much from being there. Period. Overall.
Perfect. Share a little bit. Some of the things you took away from that event.
So my biggest takeaway, there was so many, and I've got so many notes. But my biggest takeaway would have definitely been the information that Dave Anderson poured on us, heavy. He just, the aspect of understanding that you are physically doing something here that is going to be impactful in every area of life. Like you can't just show up, in regards to the business and not have this to be something that is impactful in your home, your lifestyle, your health, everything. And what was the statement he made? Wanting to roll into, and I'll probably say it wrong, but roll into your business and be successful, be excellent in business, while our homes, our lifestyles don't match excellence. So, that's so major, and we don't think about it maybe as much as we should, but you can't, it's like we're faking it, and you just can't fake excellence. You have to absolutely generate excellence in your lifestyle daily. So that is the biggest takeaway for me, alongside so many other things. Let's see. Another impactful thing for him was win the first hour of the day. Oh my God, I've experienced that, but I've never been consistent, and now the consistency of it is just it's it's filling. You know, when you win that first hour, when you get the toughest things. The toughest thing for me is getting a workout in. So if I can get that in every day, within the first hour of the day, I've accomplished half of my battle, because it's allowed me. It creates a mindset that's like, okay, that's done, you know, and you haven't even started the day, so you're ahead of the game. And we just got to do those things every single day, because at the end, we are our business, you know. Sometimes we just don't think about it that way. And if we're not excellent, our business just simply can't be.
Yeah, that's true. And it's funny, I was thinking about that because, you know, for example, my first job was at McDonald's. No offense to McDonald's, whether you like them or not.
That was my first too.
Really? So we got something in common there. So my first job was at McDonald's, but I didn't have to psych myself up. I didn't have to get my mind right to go in. Why do you think, just kind of a sidebar conversation, why do you think this business, it does require that excellence in everything that you do? It does require having your mind right to be able to be successful and you know, impactful in what we do here. What's your thoughts on that?
Because it's hard. Number one,
Good.
It's hard. It's not easy. We, although, make great money, but it's not an easy task. And there are so many other components of that. You know, you want to be in the right. Your mind, your heart, we're helping people. So all of those things are not, you know, as important when you clock in at McDonald's, you know, and ring up someone's order. So it's different because there are so many levels of importance in regards to helping families and keeping a clean mindset. And you're alone, you know, you're that 8-hour day, you're alone. So it's imperative that it's a full, you know, we feel like we're excellent in every area, because those things are going to matter.
Yeah, I agree with you. And one of the things I thought about too is because in this business you have to be so selfless. You have to be thinking about yourself less than you are your client. You have to think about them more and about their situation. So if you're having a hard time managing your life, and you're not going to have the bandwidth to be able to put that aside and focus on that family, and focus on what it's going to look like when that husband doesn't make it home, or that wife doesn't make it home, or whomever it is, and be able to help them paint that picture that's going to position them to go ahead and put some protection in place to know that if, God forbid, that does happen, we're good. And I think that's why when I was processing, I'm like, that's why it's so crucial, because I can't be thinking about my problems. Right. I got to focus on what their problem is and helping them solve their problem. So I have to be in the mindset where I already conquered my problem the first hour of the day. I'm good. Who can I help? I ain't got no problems right now. Who can I help? I need to help you solve yours. And I think that's why. Whereas, like you said, if I'm clocking in at McDonald's or Chick-fil-A or wherever you like to go, I just got to focus on processing this order. But this is so important to that family that I can't afford to screw it up because my head's not on right. Would you agree?
I agree.
Yeah. So what were some of the other things that you took away from the conference?
There were so many.
How about Fly Girl? Because you had the opportunity to actually meet her on the plane, I think, right?
I met her on the
plane. How funny you run into Fly Girl on the plane.
Yep. And then before we got on the plane, I saw her walk by. And I was like, hey, Fly Girl. And she was like, where do I know you from? And I just hit her with her, acknowledge the obstacles, don't give them power. She was like, what are you doing here already?
She went out the back private entrance with the private escort to the airport. She's like, how'd you catch up to me?
Right.
So talk about that.
Oh, my gosh. So I had some obstacles to occur, like moments after. Literally, probably, I want to say about 90 seconds after hearing her make that, after I'd written it down, looked at my phone, and my son, who was, of course, here in Atlanta, had been struck by a drunk driver. And I didn't even think about that at the second. I just completely ran outside and, lost my mind, tried to figure out where my baby was, couldn't get a hold of him. And I had to, while I'm out there, I'm trying to figure out, girl, you need to get it together. And I actually referenced the last thing I heard. Acknowledge the obstacles, don't give them power. And that was the only thing that settled me at that moment. And we physically, we have to, it has to be a mindset. There are things that obstacles that are going to come across every day. And at that point, I was just super frustrated because I had looked over so many obstacles to get to convention.
Yeah.
So I was like, really, dude? Is this happening right now? So I was a little frustrated, but it was such a blessing to have just heard those words because they were so powerful. And I was out there nose running and crying and eyelashes almost off, and I had to get myself back in that building and finish up. So, I mean, it just is something that I'm carrying through. And the funnier thing to this is, so I posted that picture on my Facebook page, and my aunt, who I love to death, but she doesn't always have the most positive mindset. She says her comment is, "Where's her mask?" Because Fly Girl had her mask under her chin when she took the picture. And I was like, Auntie, I think I responded first, it's under her chin. But then I say, acknowledge the obstacles, but don't give them power. She was like, oh, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that's truth, because a lot of times, man, those obstacles come, and the way I like to see it, sometimes we'll make them a mountain instead of the molehill that they are. They're very small. We make them bigger. Now, your son being in an accident, that's a huge deal. Thankfully, he was okay, and the car you can always replace, right? But it's being able to control your mind in the moment and being able to get through it. So it was funny because you had texted me and you had said, hey, this is happening, I'm trying to figure it out. And then when she said that, I looked back and I was like, I was just praying you had heard it. So I was like, man, it's crazy. As I'm looking back, I'm like, all right, she got it. So that's good that you were able to kind of get that and be able to have that in that moment, and take that with you as you kind of handle that situation, because that's life. Things are always going to come up, and we just got to figure out, okay, acknowledge them and don't give them too much power, handle them the way we need to handle them, so we can move through and be able to do what we do in this business. So anything else you want to add to kind of close us off, Princess?
Let's see.
She got the notes. Anything from any of the producers or the gentleman, Mr. Hatch, that resonated with you?
Oh my gosh, Mr. Hatch. Just his story was just so remarkable in regards to the push. You just keep going. That goes back to the obstacles. The other thing that was shared is that was a takeaway was courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to navigate through it. That's was nice. Another powerful piece for me.
No, that makes sense, and I think that's a fitting way to kind of wrap things up, because in this business, we're going to face a lot of fear. Fear of getting on the phones, fear of what to say in the home, fear of investing in the leads to get started, right?
Right.
I mean, there's always going to be some element of fear, and being able to go through that, work through that, is where courage comes in. And I'm always reminded, fear is false evidence appearing real. Right, a lot of times we come across these situations, we get nervous or fearful when it's really just a smokescreen. And if we can power through it, we are better for it. We had Jackie on the live dials today, and I was talking to her yesterday, kind of coaching her, like, yeah, we're getting you on there. You've been trying to, skip out on it. And she was fearful. And then like 10, 15 minutes in the live dial, and she's like, oh, this is not as bad as I thought it would be. and that's life, right? We always kind of think worse about things than sometimes they actually are. And in most cases, more so than they actually are. So it's important to be courageous where, hey, I acknowledge that's fear. I'm not going to give it power. I'm going to work right through it. So I'm excited, Princess, for your 2022. Let's put in the work. Let's protect a lot of families. Let's impact a lot of agents. So appreciate you being on.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching.